Good morning, good day, friends. This is Tracy Brown, your somatic nutrition therapist and attuned eating expert. And it's Thursday, and typically I do live videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or at least Monday, Wednesday. But yesterday got so crazy, not necessarily in bad ways, just life, that 6 o'clock came and went. I totally just blanked. So I apologize about that. And, these video series are important for me to offer because I want everybody to understand the nuance of what recovery is and what it has to offer and to decrease fear. So on that note, what we're going to talk about today is one of the reasons people go back to dieting, even though we know that it's not a long-term solution for an inside issue, is fear, right? And there isn't a person who has ever made progress or feels like they're in a recovered place in their life with food and body image and movement and health and all that didn't have fear. Everyone has fear. What are we afraid of? Well, it's pretty deep, to be honest. I don't think that anybody, honestly, food restricts for fun. Even if it's a medical situation, we don't restrict for fun. I will say about the medical stuff is the part of the fear really is at this belief that if I don't fix the food, I'm going to die. It's pretty deep. And I see that play out in pretty much any health professional and all the marketing and all the things around health is that if you eat right, you won't get sick, you won't die. And honestly, that's not true. Health, nutrition changes are really about hedging your bets, but it's a very complex offering to be able to find the right, like whether between sleep and connection and trauma healing and food changes, maybe medicine or supplements, all these things go into play to help with healing, plus maybe your faith or whatever it is else that you might want to rely on to help you feel well or do the best you can in a situation that may not fully be ameliorated, but at least symptoms are better and quality of life is better. So that's one aspect of fear. So I kind of addressed the last one first. That's fine. So a lot of times people feel like if I have a health condition, if I don't eat perfectly all the time, I won't get well and then I'll die and then all the things. But if we start really from one of the big fear points is that if I don't diet, I'm going to gain weight. And that scares me because what will people think? Will people judge me? Will I belong? Those are the bottom lines, right? And I think that's the deeper work to not want to go back to dieting. It's almost like you can make that a non-issue, a non-option once you've unpacked some of those things. Now, it doesn't mean that as you're doing that deeper work, that the day-to-day pragmatic, which I talk a lot about here, this intersection of the deep soul wound healing work and the day-to-day, we have to do both. And so it doesn't mean, again, that you might not have fears of not putting off breakfast, right? But it maybe needs to be done. Or adding another serving of something at a meal to not binge later. And a lot of people who watch, I know I've gotten a few comments here or there that like, I mostly talk about restriction for all disordered eating. And that's the reason I do that, whether it's anorexia, bulimia, binge eating, whatever, is that there's a root there for everyone. And it's either restrictive beliefs, I shouldn't eat XYZ, that's bad for me. Or if I eat this, I'll gain weight, and it causes restriction, whether you mostly restrict or you restrict and binge. There's always restriction at the root of it. And restriction thinking, restriction actions, have the root rejection and fear. It feels like the solution to fix the emotional issue. All right, so if you're having fear, it's really normal. You start eating more normally or just eating what you want, and your body starts to shift because you've been restricting those foods or something, there's a reason why your body needs to shift. It's healing, it's repairing. All the things, physical, mental, emotional. And you get afraid about that. This will be your kind of fork in the road moment of like, look, I know that if I turn back around, eventually I'm going to get sick of this and want to be back here. What do I need to support me through this fear? These are the questions we want to be asking. And so if you don't have anybody to talk about that, please reach out to me, because this is where support is really invaluable. It's like, look, we've got your back. And what are you hearing inside that says if I do X, this will happen? Let's walk through that. Is that old stuff? Even if it's maybe probable 50-50, maybe you're in a family that they love you, but they can't stop talking about their diet stuff, and you're fearful. How am I going to belong in this family with all this stuff? And we talk about like having conversations and taking up space and being able to have these conversations without it being combative. It's really important. And of course, boundaries. So these are some of the ways which we deal with this fear. And fear is the root sometimes of why we go back to dieting when we know it's not sustainable and it's really not healing our heart. All right, so thank you all so much for watching and bearing with my delay. I was supposed to do this video yesterday, but here we are this morning. Thank you so much for those who watched live, and if you watched the replay, you can put replay below. If you have questions, comments, tag me in the comments below. Be happy to help. And lastly, if you're looking for a group of people that are doing this work at this deep a level, they're not really at the surface with like non-diet stuff. They're really uncoupling and unpacking a lot, doing their parts work, really getting clear about the function of any kind of food or diet or body image behavior. It doesn't matter what it is. It's called the Peaceful Eating Community. If you're interested in that, then actually I'll put the link below so you don't have to go searching for it. So thank you so much for watching, and I will be on live tomorrow. Likelihood is, again, probably close to 9 a.m. Eastern, and we will finish up this series, and we will be talking about identity. Actually, one of my favorite topics. All right, so thank you so much for watching. Till tomorrow. Bye.